Happy Friday, guys. I had to laugh because I hit go live and my vacuum's like, starting scheduled cleaning. Of course it is. Hey, happy Friday as you're tuning in. Say hello, say good afternoon. Tell me how the weather is treating you wherever you are. That's my view. It is very bright and sunshiny. Some folks are tuning in. Who's here? Hi, Marianne. Who else is here? What's up, Faye? What's the weather like in France? France. Faye did some rock climbing the other night. Excited to hear about that. Ashley, what's up, girl? I just sent you a message. Hi, Casey. Look at this. Can you guys see that? Brandy Wade's here. Can you see my cats? Oh, silly cats. I never thought I'd be a cat person. You asked me that a couple years ago, I would never have said yes. What's up? What's up? So today we're talking about diets. Today we're talking about some of the basics. I guess it's bath time, right? That's his sister. Hi, Holly. Again, as you're tuning in, let me know if you're watching this on the replay. Let me know if you're watching this live. I love these because I know you guys watch these and I know you guys have questions. And I love getting on here and talking with you guys and kind of nerding out and talking about all the things that I find pretty interesting when it comes to food and nutrition. Faye says it's dark over here. It's 9:30, been raining today, but tomorrow some sun. Awesome, just in time for the weekend. What are you guys doing this weekend? Anything fun? Les Mills launch is happening at the Edge this weekend, so some of you, I know you from the gym, so coming out do the Dave and Julie show on Saturday morning, right? Dave and Julie show. What's up, Barb? Cool. We're doing body pump tomorrow morning, and I should learn the rest of it. I don't know the chest track, nor do I know the back track. What else? Faye's gonna work out outside. I'm also teaching body balance afterwards, and then I'm teaching body balance and body combat on Sunday with Sandy. That's my weekend, as well as getting some other work things I've got to get done. I'm collaborating with another dietitian friend of mine. She is not a personal trainer, and she wants to have some workouts for her clients, so I'm... Okay, I hope that's still there. Karen's here, Tori's here. Brandy Wade's gonna do the launch, of course, and her husband's birthday. Sorry we can't make it, Brandy. So yeah, what's up? We're gonna talk about diets today. So as you guys are tuning in, again, say hi. Let me know you're tuning in. If you're gonna watch some of it, cool. We're gonna talk about keto. We're gonna talk about intermittent fasting. We're gonna talk about paleo. We're gonna talk about Mediterranean diet. We can also talk about a few other things. Hi, Lisa. If you have questions about these things, pop them in the chat just so I can have them in the chat and I'll address them when it's appropriate. So those are the ones we're going to talk about. I'm just going to kind of give you a high-level overview, and then I'm going to give you some broad recommendations because as I named this chat today, if your diet has a name, let's talk about diets, that's going to be... This broad statement is if your diet has a name, then it's clearly just that. It's a diet. It's a plan. It's a fixed way of eating that sometimes can lead to things that we don't want, disordered eating, where we start to fear things, or we start to say, I can only eat this, I cannot eat this. Food rules that may or may not be serving you in the long term. Whether or not they serve you in the short term is a different story. So we're going to kind of talk about all the implications when it comes to putting yourself on a diet and eating in a certain way, and then we can talk about the benefits and the cons of all these different types of diets, because believe it or not, all of the things I'm going to talk to you today has rooted in science, evidence that it can support health, okay? So it's just what you do with it in the long term is the other consideration to have. So let's jump in. I'm going to start with keto because I feel like keto has been kind of the buzz lately. And then we'll talk about intermittent fasting because those two are the ones that I seem to see a lot of when it comes to people asking questions, when it comes to people trying it, when it comes to people having success, and when people have not so great success with them. So we'll talk about those two, and then we'll talk about some other ones as well. So keto, of course. Keto was designed for treatment of epileptic seizures. And it was designed in a teenager, childlike setting. It was done for these children that had epileptic conditions, and it showed that it would affect and have positive impact on the outcome of these seizures. And so people ran with it. And so ketogenic diets are just that. It's designed to put you in a ketogenic situation where your body is relying on fats in your body, so stored fats. What's up, Nancy? What's up, Sue? I see you guys. Hi, Sally. And it's designed to put you in ketosis, which essentially means your body is relying on fat stores to create ketones, which cross the blood-brain barrier and are a substitute for glucose. Glucose is the thing that the brain uses exclusively. In the absence of glucose, then it has to have a backup. It has to have a plan B, otherwise you would die. And so that plan B is ketones. And essentially you are putting yourself in a stressed starvation state, physiologically speaking, and your metabolism is cranking away at your fat stores, utilizing those fat stores to fuel the brain, because that brain takes up a lot of energy. And so that's what's happening when you put yourself in ketosis. And the initial feelings, the initial symptoms of ketosis are really, really dramatic. And if you've ever been in ketosis, you feel really sluggish, your mind is kind of foggy, you don't feel like you're on your game, because it takes your metabolism so much longer to derive energy from the fat stores than it would if it normally would be taking it from your blood glucose. So you feel lethargic, you feel sluggish, you feel tired, you feel lack of energy. And so most of the time when people go into ketosis, they don't want to be there. And so any amount of carbohydrates that you put yourself into or eat, hi Chrissy, you get yourself out of ketosis really quickly, okay? So it's a hard thing for people to abide by, and so some people will find that it's really easy to do in the short term, but in the long term, it's one of those things you cannot avoid carbs that well, okay? I put myself in ketosis, I think I've shared this before, a couple of years ago, probably in like 2018, just so I could see what it felt like. And I spent 11 days getting into it, avoiding carbs, doing nothing but lean protein and vegetables, hating life, being a real bitch. Taking my own salad to my neighbor's dinner because she was serving ravioli and I couldn't have the pasta. And I hated it. But I didn't want to like mess the work I did up for those previous 10 days because I knew I was getting into ketosis. And I dropped weight. I didn't really drop fat though. I dropped weight, which is a difference. When you drop fat, that takes a long time, not 11 days. I dropped glycogen stores in my muscle. I also dropped water weight. So you start to pee a lot when you get into this situation of ketosis because your kidneys are working on overdrive, really getting the rest of the glycogen out of your muscles, and you feel really weak. But ketogenic diets have been shown to support weight loss. They have been shown to support weight loss. They have been shown to improve triglyceride levels, improve your HDL levels, improve your blood pressure, and can improve your glucose sensitivity. Because let's think about it. If you remove glucose from the situation and you don't have glucose in your body, well, no crap, you're going to be more sensitive to your glucose and insulin because once you put it back in your body is craving it, so it's much more sensitive to it. So there is some positive evidence that suggests that ketogenic diets can support weight loss. The problem becomes is what you replace carbs with is fat. So you're getting high levels of fat in your diet, you're getting high levels of protein. Two things you're going to strain in your body. You're going to strain your heart, you're going to strain your kidneys. When you have a high protein amount, here comes my cat, wants to watch the birds. It's no longer bath time. And here goes my vacuum. Okay, so when you strain your heart or strain your kidneys because you have so much more kidney protein to deaminate, essentially is one of the scientific terms. So taking the amino group off of the nitrogen, off of the protein molecules, your kidneys get overworked. And you could possibly lead to kidney issues. The other issue is all about the connection of ketogenic diets and heart disease. Because when you replace all of those carbohydrates with fat, hold on, I gotta turn my vacuum around. Freaking vacuum, go away. When you replace all of those things with fat, your heart, it potentially might increase your LDL levels. So those are your bad cholesterol levels, low density lipoproteins, okay? It potentially increases those, which can lead to more inflammation in your body, which could have a correlation to heart disease, okay? So those are the pros, those are the cons. What questions do you guys have about the keto diet? The thing about the keto diet is sure, it's been shown to support weight loss. Sure, it's been shown to prevent or to increase insulin sensitivity. All of these really good things, but at what risk? And the thing is, we really don't know the long-term effects of what happens if you're on a keto diet for years, 30 years, 20 years. We don't know because there's not been, obviously, it hasn't really been around for that long. The keto diet is just an extension of the Atkins diet. The Atkins diet is essentially lower carb, so low carb, which you are still introducing some carbohydrates, 50 grams or less in low carb. Keto diet is even lower, so it is kind of an extreme amount of how much carbohydrates you're getting. There's no long studies that will show that this is not detrimental to your health. So, my opinion, if you want to ask me what's my opinion about ketogenic diet, it might be effective in the short term. If you want to try it to see if you can get some pounds off, try it. Be careful. Because if you do it in the long term, we don't really know what's going to happen. Especially if you're prone, and especially if you have propensities in your family for heart disease or kidney disease or anything else that is implicated with inflammation in your body. They're so big on the keto diet in France, but what I crave is carbs, and if I don't eat any, yeah, you crave it. Well, no crap. So your body is designed to seek out carbs because that is your quick energy source. Your body would run on carbs all day, every day, and not rely on fat stores if you consistently just fed it carbs, carbs, carbs. Your body would be fine, physiologically speaking, okay? And so your mind is wired to want those. And so it is not unheard of and it's not unusual for most people to go on this ketogenic diet and then all of a sudden crash and eat tons and tons of carbs because you just can't take it anymore because that's what your body wants, okay? So that's totally normal, Faye. Has anybody that's watching the live, so I've got a couple of folks watching the live, has anybody tried it? Has anybody done it with success? And is anybody doing it? I know I've got a few folks in the group that consistently do it. And I'm not knocking it. Like I'm not. If you feel like it works for you, and that's going to be kind of the bottom line of this discussion, is if it works for you and you are seeing success with it, then okay. As long as it's not going to harm your health in the long term, which we don't have the answer for that, for this one, fine. But also remember that it kind of could cost you in the long term. I've done it. I didn't like it. Sue didn't try it. If you tried it, let me know. So yeah, if you have any questions about keto, please do put it in the comments. Let's move on. Let's talk about intermittent fasting. Holly had it. She lost weight quite easily, but it was a bit hard to maintain. Because yeah, that's a good point, Holly. So what happens when you use it to lose, right? You use it to lose weight, and then you start to reintroduce carbohydrates. So then what do? The scale will go up. Absolutely, it will go up because then once you start to introduce carbohydrates, 1 gram of carbohydrate has 3 grams of water attached to it. So 1 gram of carbs, 3 grams of water. That relates to scale up, okay? Not because you gain fat. Let's remember, if you are chasing a weight loss goal, you are not chasing just weight loss. You are chasing a fat loss goal. So put that terminology into your mind. You don't want to just lose weight. You want to lose fat. And some of these diets that we're going to talk about can actually lead to weight loss and not just fat loss. And so there's a difference. So what happens again when you cut out carbs and you put it back in? You gain weight. You freak out. You go, what the hell did I do wrong? I need to maintain this weight loss. So it's kind of one of those things where like you work so hard to get it off, but then now what? And that'll be a constant thing when we talk about all these other diets of you were on a diet for a short term, so now it's sustainable. And so sustainable looks different than what you did to get there. So the hard part is now how do you sustain the weight loss? And if you go back to what you normally do, you're not going to sustain that weight loss. Which some of my clients are watching this, and so that's the kind of stuff that I need you to drill in your head, that short-term success with these diets is okay, but the more patient, slow progress is better because you are going to do it in a way that's sustainable, the way that you found to work for you, that you can maintain for the rest of your life. It's not fun to lose 0.5 pound a week. It's not fun to lose less than you want, But it is fun on the end when you are successful and you keep it off for the rest of your life. Brandy's grandparents did Atkins for just a while. I just can't. I love bread. I can't either. Hell, I can't either. So I was a runner for the longest time, and man, you want to take away my carbs, my bread, my pasta, all that? No, it's my energy source. It's also the thing I like the most. Like if you take me to a restaurant and they serve me bread in the beginning, I'm like, yes. Don't eat too much of this, Julie, because you're not going to want your dinner. I love it. Heck, even in college. So there was this Italian restaurant in college. I went to Illinois State, and there was this Italian restaurant called Bonnie's, and they had French bread. And literally me and my roommate would just go and order a whole loaf of French bread, like this big. And that's all we would eat. It's just French bread and butter. It was so good. Anyways, let's talk about intermittent fasting. So that's kind of the other buzz thing right now is intermittent fasting. So for most people, I'm sure you know what it is. Intermittent fasting means you're going to limit how much food. Yeah, French bread is good, Faye. I'm going to come out and see you in France and you're going to feed me the best French bread. Probably not anytime soon. Intermittent fasting is when you limit the amount of food or the time that you're going to eat. So there's ways you can do it. There's during the day where it's time restricted, where you might say, okay, I'm only going to eat from 10 a.m. to like 8 p.m. Okay? And then you have a fast. So the rest of the time you're not eating. Or you can even shorten that window to maybe a 4-6 hour window. There's tons of ways you can do it. There's tons of apps out there now that are like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not prioritizing. What is the word that like piggybacks on the success of the popularity? Brain fog. 41-year-old brain. Okay. Someone tell me that word. Cashing in. That's not it. Anyways. So these apps will tell you when you should eat, when you shouldn't eat. There's lots of discussion on whether or not this window is the best. It's kind of like, okay, whatever works for you. There's a second way you can do it where you're just fasting one day. So whole day not eating, next day you eat. Whole day not eating, the next day you eat. Ooh, that sounds terrible. And the other way is periodic fasting. So then you are fasting for 3 days, ooh, even worse, and eating for 2. Or fasting for 7 days and eating for 3. Like, boggles my mind how people can say, I'm purposely not going to eat for a day. What? Like, I haven't eaten in 3 hours, and I'm like, it's time to eat. I don't know how people do it. But there has been scientific evidence, there has been research out there that does say that intermittent fasting can increase your insulin sensitivity. It can improve some hormonal responses when it comes to cortisol. It can increase cortisol when you're in a fasted state, but as you resolve that fasted state, it improves your ability to manage cortisol, is what is believed is going on. It also can shown to be effective at losing body fat versus just losing weight. Okay, so don't knock it until you try it. I have never tried it. There are some benefits that seem promising, and there are some physicians out there that certainly will advocate for it. And it is a decent way to, especially for those that are at risk for diseases in that are related to inflammation. So obesity is a disease of inflammation. Intermittent fasting can improve your inflammation markers because it's thought that sometimes processed carbohydrates can be inflammatory. Same with some types of fats. And so if you decrease the amount of time that your body sees those inflammatory eliciting agents, let's call it that, then you can improve your inflammation systemically. That's not really well understood, okay? If you think about it, so this will tuck into talking about Paleolithic diets as well. Our ancestors were kind of intermittent fasters as well because they didn't necessarily have access to food all the time. They probably couldn't eat on regular intervals. And so it could be one of those things that supports overall health with inflammation. Maybe. We don't really know. Faye, what did you say? You said I tried it 16-8, so that was her eating window. So fasting for 16, eating for 8, lost a bit, but not much, and felt even more tired. Yeah. So she raises the point about the cons of intermittent fasting. So, and I know Nancy says she did it too, because Nancy mentioned on my Facebook post she did it. It's really hard to be physically active when you are on an intermittent fasting regimen. So imagine you ate for 8 hours during the day, and your last meal was like at 8 o'clock at night. You got up to work out in the morning, and you're dead because you don't have anything on board. Your blood glucose is gone. You have worked through your liver glycogen stores. So if you're doing any sort of HIIT training, if you're doing any sort of cardiovascular training, strength training would not be nearly as affected, but probably would be affected at a little bit to some extent. Your workout would be hard to do. So there are some populations of people that would not benefit from doing intermittent fasting, especially those that are on the verge of diabetes. Those types of folks that could have, extreme swings of blood sugar certainly shouldn't try this, because there are other ways to lose weight. There are other ways to manage your weight, not just using intermittent fasting. However, if it's a lifestyle that you feel like can work for you, do it. And that's one of those things of try it. If it works for you, do it. Do we know the long-term benefits? No, because all of these things are not really well studied long-term. To be honest with you, we don't have a lot of things when it comes to the longevity of a human life. Let's say, you might start to become aware and conscious of what you're eating, maybe in your mid-30s, maybe in your 20s, whatever, and you live to 80 years old. I mean, that's a long span. There have not been any studies, and I probably should correct myself if I research this, but I'm sure there's not that many studies that study that over that length of time. We just don't know. And is it even possible to tease out all of these effects of the way we eat and how long we live? I don't know. But it's one of those things that you want to make an educated decision, and unfortunately, the wellness industry, the diet industry does a really good job of confusing you. And in fact, it's even hard as a professional to understand and keep up with the current state of knowledge, because there's so much out there. There's so much out there. And then you have to be really good at understanding information, right? So if you read a headline on a news story and you're like, oh, that sounds really too good to be true, or oh, that sounds really interesting, but then you look into it and you're like, but wait a minute, what study are they picking this from? And then if you look at the study and they studied like 12 men from Eastern Asia, and they have a completely different lifestyle than you, and you are not that person, and then it's like, does this really apply to you? You don't know. Not easy either to put into place. Yeah. So I mean, it's all about like balancing your life and understanding the implications of the things that you try. And then throw in the fact that if you're going to try it, you can't just try it for a week and say it didn't work. I don't lose any weight, Julie. I tried it. How long did you try it for? A week? Okay. Get back to me in 3 months. Because your body doesn't respond that quickly. It really doesn't. Unfortunately, it doesn't. Especially when we're on a timeline and we're like, I want to lose this weight now. Okay. We got to be patient. We got to dial back those expectations of having it happen tomorrow. Because unfortunately, we're in that society of we just want constant, instant feedback and instant gratification, that this is that long-term shift of your mindset that needs to happen of, what about just doing things that will support a healthy lifestyle? And I'm kind of getting off track, and I'm trying to not be on my high horse because I see a lot of this. But why not just focus on doing those lifestyle habits that support healthy lifestyle versus losing weight? Wouldn't that be easier to say, let me just see what I can add into my life to support health and see where the cards lay? And if you lose weight, great. Even if the scale doesn't move, but your cholesterol lowers, your blood pressure is lowered, you get off blood pressure medication, all of those things, but the scale doesn't change, does it really matter? Just something to think about. So let's talk about paleo diet. Paleo diet was kind of one of those big things back in the day. I'm not quite sure how excited and hot this one is these days, but truly is just eat like our ancestors. Avoid things that are super processed, avoid grains, avoid beans, legumes, all of those things that our ancestors would not have had. So we're talking lean meat, fruits and vegetables, And even certain types of fruit are off limits because they say they wouldn't have had access to that. So if you want to be really strict with paleo, it's really just berries, right? Really? Paleo is really big in France right now? Interesting. Is it still big here, guys? I didn't think it was, but you correct me if I'm wrong. You felt like $1 million on paleo? Really? Interesting. Tell me more, Holly. What about it? So there's really not a lot of studies in terms of health benefits of paleo. There's not a whole lot. I did a quick kind of peruse of PubMed today before I started preparing for this. And there were some, but not a lot. It did say that it's one of those diet eating patterns that will help you lose weight, but it's not as it's superior to than low carb or low fat or even just calorie restriction, focusing on protein and fiber. Yeah. Started with Whole30, then went straight into paleo after that. Okay, Holly, we'll talk about Whole30 too. Okay? Whole30 as well, not Whole32. Was it difficult for you guys to adhere to, Holly? Okay, she answered my question. It was difficult, for sure. Why though? Because you couldn't eat things that were on your table? What couldn't you eat? Couldn't eat rice, couldn't eat pasta, couldn't eat, so let's think about it. The things that you have to avoid in paleo are the things that we tend to overeat. So the carb-rich sources, the sweets, the processed junk, no cheese, no pasta, no ice cream, no milk, none of that. Those are those things that are really high and dense in calories and actually nutrients too. So let's face it, dairy has lots of vitamin D, lots of calcium, lots of things that our body needs, some minerals. Right, kill me, right? It sounds terrible. It's talking about quality of life here, people. Take away my cheese over my dead body. I'll talk about Whole30 too, Faye, in a second. But let's think about the things that let's think about the things that you replace all those things with. So all you can have, lean meats, fruits and vegetables. What else? What else? So no doubt you're going to lose weight because you are so limited in the types of food that you can eat. So this is like an eating disorder waiting to happen. So when you restrict, you automatically set yourself up to binge. 100%. That is so shown so many times. Even in just what's the word? I'm losing my words. What is the word? Not correlation. Anecdotally. That's the word. I found it this time. Or even in studies that shows that when you restrict, you are setting yourself up to binge. And so that is the bottom line when it comes to diets. That is my professional opinion, that if you try something like this, you are just setting yourself up to overeat the things you can't have. I was telling one of my clients this about when I was a kid. I was not allowed to have soda. I could have one soda a day. My mom would write it down. You got a soda today? Okay, cool. That's all. You're one today. Just one. That's all. And she thought she was doing me a favor for, preventing me from drinking sugar-sweetened beverages and all of that, which I understand her intention. But when I went to college and there was no mom telling me, no, Julie, you can't have that. You can't have that. Dude, Coke all the time, Dr. Pepper. And I'm not talking diet because at that point I didn't like diet. And so that's all I drank. And I swear that's what caused me to gain weight when I got into college. It wasn't that I was eating Chick-fil-A more. Get this, in my college dorm, we had Chick-fil-A, we had Sbarro's, we had Panda Express in my cafeteria. Ben and Jerry's. I was not set up for success there. And Subway, I also had Subway in my lobby of my dorm. Illinois State, people. I don't know if they still do. It sets you up for failure. Okay? So, paleo, we kind of understand that for sure. Once you got through figured out what you could eat and easy to follow, I even did, I don't know what that word is, Ragabar, what is that? No processed foods. Followed it to a T. Okay, for how long? I find that motivation for following those things for a T only lasts for so long. And you bike ride across the state doing that? So yeah, and you bring up a good point, because once you start to give your body a consistent way of eating, it adapts. your body's really good at adapting. And so if you're giving it less processed food, if you're giving it less really quick acting sugars, it's going to get better at producing those fuels that you need to survive and even thrive. As long as you're consistently giving it the same thing, it will adapt. Absolutely 100% will adapt. And that's why bodies adapt when you work out. It will adapt and say, this is easy. Challenge me more. Okay? So what was I going to do? Let's move on. Let's talk about Whole30. So Faye wasn't sure about Whole30. It's an elimination diet essentially, and it's popular here in the U.S. It was a book written by, I don't know who it was written by. I don't know if it's a doctor or a nutritionist or a dietitian. I'm not sure. But it's kind of a movement. It's been kind of a movement for a while here in the U.S. where essentially you eliminate things in a stepwise fashion that are meant to trigger inflammation. So it's thought sugars are inflammatory. It's thought that alcohol is inflammatory. People think that dairy is inflammatory, and there could be some low levels of inflammation for a lot of these food groups. But you stepwise eliminate them to look for things that are causing you bloating, inflammation, any sort of fatigue, malaise, all of those things. And it's really just designed as an elimination diet. It's never been touted as a weight loss diet, but again, the things that happen when you eliminate sugars, alcohol, grains, legumes, all of those things that are higher in calories, and you're left over with not eating a whole lot, then you lose weight. And you lose weight because not only maybe you are eliminating something that could be inflammatory in you, personally in you, which, dairy may be more inflammatory to one, dairy may be less inflammatory to another. So one person would see some results and another person would see drastically different results. But yes, you will see weight loss. But again, that goes back into what happens after those 30 days and you've eliminated these foods and you're like, now what? Now what do I do? And I'm not sure, somebody correct me if I'm wrong or chime in here. Is there a way that they talk about reintroducing it? Because I've never done it. I've only understood it from afar, so I've never put myself through it. But I don't know if they support you, like if there's a way in the diet plan to reintroduce dairy or reintroduce sugars or alcohol. I know as a trained dietitian, we talked all about elimination diets and how to do it. 75 hard does what, Brandy? It reintroduces it? No, 75 hard makes you eliminate that. I know that for sure. 75 hard is not a diet, but we can also talk about that, in my opinion, about that. 75 hard is hard. Holly lost 11 pounds when she did it. Oh, yes, and slowly added food groups back in. Okay. Did you gain weight back? That's my next question. Oh, reintroducing over the weeks. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know about 75 hard. I've seen people do it too. 75 hard is one of these challenges by the First Form CEO, which is a supplement company here in the US. And they said, and it was really designed as like, who would do this? Who would actually do this stupid challenge? And he was like, let's just see if I can get anybody to do this with me. And it's 75 days of, I think the rules are you have to follow a certain diet, doesn't matter which one, which has to follow some kind of diet. You have to work out twice a day, 45 minutes a piece. And one of them has to be outside. You have to read 10 minutes of some sort of self-help book or something like that. And you have to drink a gallon of water a day. You have to take progress pictures every day or I don't know how many times you can take your pictures, but and any sort of slip, if you miss a workout, you start over. Like if you're on day 74 and you miss a workout, you start over. And people get great results. Like I have a friend on my Facebook page who does it and she gets great results, but then again, set yourself up for binging because cheat meals. No cheat meals. I freaking hate that word. No cheat meals. Because as soon as you get done with 75 days, what do? Go have pizza. What do? Go have a beer. Gin and tonic for me. My gosh. What kind of life is that? maybe I'm just done with that. So some of you know that I did bodybuilding and I did it for the challenge. I didn't necessarily do it just for the sport, because I actually despise the sport and it's like foundation. I hate the fact that you're up on stage all prancing around like you're being judged like a dog and saying your glutes are bigger than hers, your physique is better than hers. I hate that. I did it for the discipline. I did it for the challenge. But I think I'm kind of over it. Like, I'm really kind of over that. And I would rather preach moderation, enjoying life, because you are not meant to just be a vessel to lose weight from. You are meant to enjoy your life. Sure, your health has priority, but not over your mental health. If you are constantly degrading yourself and telling yourself that you are not worth it because you can't lose weight, or that you look terrible in a swimsuit, or that you don't want to look at pictures, if you are constantly living in that way, your mental health needs more health than your physical body, because there's something wrong with that mentality. And it's unfortunate that a lot of us are forced into that mentality because we are told we aren't worthy. Freaking hate it. I hate it for everybody that are in that rut. I hate it for everybody that feels the pressure to lose weight. I actually have a deep-rooted conflict in my profession where, as a health dietitian, as a professional, I feel like the only way I can be successful is to sell weight loss. When in reality, what I'm helping people do is improve their eating behaviors, improving their relationship with their food, improving their ability to work out and feel better doing it versus the scale. Fuck the scale. I don't care about the scale. I really don't. Like, I would rather see you do all of those things and then eventually weight loss will happen. Like, I get so freaking fired up about this because it pisses me off, especially because I have 2 young girls that don't deserve to have this feeling that we've all felt our entire adult life. Right? Can I get a freaking amen on that? Because it is so terrible to hear my 8-year-old or my 9-year-old, Corinne, she told me, we had pictures, spring pictures on Thursday, and she, the night before, was trying to figure out what she wanted to wear, and it broke my heart when she said, Mommy, I do not want to look at myself in pictures because I don't like the way I look. Are you kidding me? She's 9 years old and she told me she doesn't like the way she looked, and I'm like, why? Like, we had this huge conversation about like why and where is this coming from and all of this, and it just breaks my heart that she already thinks that. And if you have kids that are young like mine, or even adult kids, like, this conversation is important, so important. Yes. So Holly, yes, absolutely. That's the point. Like, I would rather see you say, I'm off of blood pressure medicine. I would rather you say, I am no longer pre-diabetic. I'd rather hear all of that than for you to say, yeah, I lost 10 pounds and I'm in my jeans. And I get that as a great motivator. It is something that will continue to motivate people. But at the same time, we need to remember what we're here for. We are here for the relationships in our lives. We are here to be in this body for longer. We are here to be in this body more physical. We are here in this body to enjoy our life, see the world, increase our love for, sorry, somebody just texted me. Increase our love for, our life versus feeling like a failure because we can't lose weight. Woo! Hold this drink, I gotta pet this dog. Yeah. So, questions, comments. I've been chatting for 39 minutes. No, 39 minutes. What's going on in your world? Did any of this hit home? Oh, God, look at my cat. I got a cat. Can you zoom in? I don't think I can zoom in. My cat is crazy. E2M. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, Chrissy. I don't get all these diets that cost so much. Yeah, okay, so yeah. That's the other thing, Faye, is that if they are asking you to pay a shit ton of money to eat their diet, then clearly they're just trying to profit off of you. E2M. What is that? Anybody know? E2M diet. Eager to motivate 8-week paid subscription that offers meal plans, exercise routine. Is that what you're talking about? It sounds like somebody's program. It sounds like a doctor's, no? I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Does anyone else know that? That's right, Faye. Okay, well, I don't know that one, so I can certainly look into it, Chrissy, and then make a post about it, because I've never seen that one. It looks like it's probably just a way to control calories and increase different types of food consumption. So it says it's like common examples of what healthy meals entail: four servings of cheese, yogurt, strawberries, and peaches. Okay. Created by Jeff Witherspoon, an 8-week virtual plan at $40 per week, consists of weekly meal plans, meal ideas. Yeah. Kind of sounds a lot like what I do with my clients. Is I provide like nutrition prescriptions and then help them meld what that looks like in their life, and then give them exercise routines and exercise programming. So that's kind of what I do. Hi, Lisa. Check out Glucose Goddess and incorporate some of her habits. Yeah, I don't really know that one either. Is she like a influencer? Glucose Goddess. I would imagine her thing is probably insulin sensitivity and how to manage your glucose spikes. So when you're eating something that's rich in carbohydrates, probably eat it with something that's protein rich as well as fat rich, where you can eliminate that huge spike of glucose. And as long as you keep your blood glucose somewhat steady, it's been shown to improve insulin sensitivity, improve weight management, and all of those things. So that would be my first thing about her, but I don't know really about her either. Interesting. Glucose Goddess. It helps to have like a sexy name to keep your, she has 1.8 million followers. She's a French biochemist, Faye. Do you know her? Wow. I'm gonna have to look into her. She has a book. She wore a glucose monitor for 3 years and wrote a book about it. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I know there's lots of people wearing glucose monitors these days to actually see in real time what's happening to their blood sugar and their blood glucose after meals. And it's somewhat interesting. In France, they talk just about eating protein and nothing else, not even vegetables. Yeah, well, you're missing out on lots of fiber. Oh, I did say I wanted to talk about the Mediterranean diet, and the Mediterranean diet really isn't a diet, but it's more like incorporating more of the things that, people that live in, Italy and different areas in the Mediterranean are known for eating. So we're talking like really a lot of fruits and vegetables, really healthy fats that are liquid at room temperature. That's a tip that you should know, that if your fat is solid at room temperature, it's likely going to have more saturated fat like butter. If your fat is liquid at room temperature, it's going to have a lot of mono unsaturated fats, like olive oil, avocado oil, all of those healthier oils. I hate saying healthier because all of it can fit. But the Mediterranean diet has some of that, where you are incorporating a lot of fats, but they are the more omega-3s versus the omega-6s. And so there's a lot to do with that balance between omega-3s and omega-6s. And it can increase heart health, and that's been proven. And I studied that when I was in dietetic school. Like that was like the number one recommendation of like, okay, how are we going to tell people to eat? Tell them to eat like the Mediterranean, because they, increase the amount of fruits and vegetables, moderate amounts of lean meats, and really minimal amounts of highly processed red meats type of thing. It's kind of like the antithesis of the American diet. Imagine that. And it does have some evidence to support some brain health as well as your heart health. But it's not necessarily effective for weight loss. It's more or less like this is a really good eating lifestyle that will improve those healthy markers of heart health and brain health and all of those things. What else you got? I got another 5-10 minutes. I got a client call at 3:30. So what else you guys got? The Glucose Goddess. Interesting. I'll follow her. I'm gonna add her 1.8 million followers to my 380 something followers on Instagram. I don't want 1.8 million people watching me. No. Did you see me do a headstand yesterday on my Instagram? Oh man, I was like, I don't know what to post, but I was like in that mood where I just had my like soapbox moment. I was in that mood of like challenging a lot of thoughts of, I can't do this. I'm not doing enough. That type of like syndrome. I was like, let me just go do a headstand downstairs. What else? What else you got? I have family pictures this weekend. We're doing a tie-dye theme. So you probably can't see all that, but that was our first one with like just different colors. And then this one was like formal with white dresses. And I don't know if I have another one up. But we're doing photos this weekend with my family. What else are you guys doing? What else? What else you should need to know? So we talked a lot about like using these diets. If you are using them, I would say certainly have an exit strategy. So if you are going to try these, then what else happens once you decide it's not for you? How else can you maintain that weight loss? I think would be a good consideration. If you haven't considered contacting me to see how I can help you, please do, because I have a lot of clients watching right now. I have at least 2 that are maybe potentially still watching. And if they could chime in and just kind of say, like, I've been helping them with looking for behaviors that support our goals. And that's really what I do, is I support my clients see those behaviors and do those behaviors, because I'll be real, like, we need accountability. As humans, we are designed to work in a community. And so I provide that support and that accountability to do those things. I am always transparent to say that I have coaches. I have coaches that help me with my business. I have coaches that help me with my personal training. In fact, he wrote me nutrition for a while because I was like, I don't feel like doing it for myself, right? Yeah, Faye's changing her behavior, and it's wonderful. Like, every time we get on a call, I love chatting with my clients to hear what they've done and hear, the positive steps that they've taken, and then work them through when things aren't going their way. I love it. I just wish everybody wasn't focused on losing weight. Losing weight comes. It does. After you change your mindset of, I'm doing this for health. Carbs are not evil. Scotcheroos. Eat those scotcheroos. I'll make some scotcheroos this weekend. Oh, they're not evil. Take away my carbs over my dead body. No way, man. No way. It's supposed to be gorgeous here in St. Louis this weekend. How about you? Yeah, that's awesome, Faye. Faye with rock climbing, like I said, man, that's awesome. Faye, rock climbing. Ooh. I don't know if I can do that. All right, guys. Go out there and be great. I got to get on a call with a new client. So, if you have any more questions, please do post it in the Facebook group. I love that we've got some new posts happening in the group. If you feel the need to be supported, you have questions, you have somebody like just an ear to talk to, post in the group. Brandy had some really great comments on her post. I really appreciate that engagement. I really appreciate that community, because that's really what I'm trying to build, is a community of like-minded women that can support each other. Because let's face it, we don't have access to people like this. Like, even though it's virtual, I can feel the support from you guys, especially when it's Friday afternoon and you're listening to me talk for over 45 minutes about things that light me up, okay? And I hope you take something away from this, but that can happen a lot on the Facebook group too, with just posts. So hopefully we can see the ball rolling of you guys posting some more and getting questions answered, feelings validated, things to do differently, looking for different recipes, all those things, because we're all in this together, right? You guys enjoy your weekend, and we will chat next time. Let me know what we should talk about next time, because I have ideas, but if you have things you want to chat with, let me know. Okay? Alrighty, guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye.